Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks popping, who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I am 1/3 of the triple threat of mixed tag team podcasting hosts, the legend J Mac. With me, as always, is your red, white, and bruised Uncle Slam.
What's up?
And the first lady of wrestling podcasts, the Vipress.
Hi, everyone.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a dive into managers and valets. They weren't just in the corner. They ran the game from ringside, from mouthpiece to masterminds, from glam to grit. This is the show that shines the spotlight on the legends behind the legends. Get ready to step behind the curtain with the ones who managed the madness and stole the spotlight without ever even throwing a punch. Managers, valets, visionaries. Guys, this is a deep subject because there's so many.
There were so many.
Yeah.
But there's so many, but there's only so few that shine the way
Yeah,
that
that's
some
very
of
true.
them did. You know,
It wouldn't be hard to be on, I guess, do a Mount Rushmore, I guess, if you wanted to do managers and valets.
Oh, no. And that's the thing, because, like, everybody thinks it's hard to be a wrestler. But how hard is it to me,
Be
I
on the
think
side and still be noticed.
right. Yeah, you know, selling a punch is, to me, I think, a lot easier than selling just you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With nothing to, with
Right.
you being
You
the
know,
side.
I got to believe that you're an asshole. I got to believe that you're, you know, coming to get whatever I've got. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
because
why
you know you can't do it in the ring. You've got somebody that will do it for you.
Well, most of them, you know, had, you know, mouthpieces like, you know, Jim Cornette or, you know, Paul Heyman or Bobby the Brain, you know what I'm saying, that had that gift of gab, that was quick-witted, that was, you know, always had to come back, you know what I'm saying, that could get you, you know, that could bring that heat, you know what I'm saying, that could turn a crowd against them real quick during a promo or an interview or stuff, or just walk into the ring.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
just standing there, like, people would be pissed off because, you know, just being
because
there.
you're standing there.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is there's so many of them that, like, were meant to get the heat, but you end up liking them. Like,
Because of the heat, yeah.
just before the show came on, we're sitting here jamming to old Slick's Jive Soul Bro. I was like, I had forgotten all about that song, man. I'm just sitting here laughing because,
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
it was great back in, you know? And, you know, I hadn't even thought about the Dr. Style Slick in so many years. And it's like he just kind of faded into obscurity after his little run in the WWE. And he's one that I think he should have gotten a chance to manage a world champion. I think Slick was a good manager that just doesn't get mentioned a lot. But, you know, we'll get into that later. But it's just, you know, it takes more than just... And what people don't realize is a lot of these managers are managers because of the fact that their bodies break down and stuff, and they can't do it in the ring.
Well, see,
and
that's what I
stuff
was
like
going to
that.
ask. Are managers more people that used to be wrestlers that can't do it anymore, or is it just they're wrestlers and they realize that they're a little bit better with being a manager or whatever?
I think we should actually, like, when we get into talking to Mr. Alexander from EWA, I would like to know that. Like, do managers have to train, the same, or do they have to train a little bit, to be able to take a few bumps here and there?
Yeah, because you're going to get hit. I mean, that kind of
Right.
comes
Yeah.
with being a manager.
Right. So I'm wondering, what's the training regimen for a manager? Is it because I know referees, they pretty
They
much
take
go through
bumps,
the same.
too.
Yeah, they.
Oh,
pretty
do they? See,
They-
like,
yeah,
I never
refs-
Oh
heard
yeah,
of
they
that.
take bumps like crazy.
Refs pretty much basically train the same way a wrestler does.
Yeah, they do.
And so
Some
I'm
of them
wondering-
are wrestlers
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
See, I never knew that. Like, I just thought they were kind of separate. I mean, I knew they had. They take bumps and stuff.
Road Dogg's brother was a wrestler. Armstrong. I can't remember. He was kind of like white-headed. Kind of like had you'd know him if you seen him. I'm
Yeah.
sure he was
I'd have to
he
see
was
a
a
picture.
SmackDown referee for a long time. But he was a manager for a long time, or not a manager, a referee for a long time. So like I said, I'm just wondering if the training regimen is the same. But to get into, get the attention off us talking and get the attention on these, I don't know what else to say because there's so many of them that they're just as memorable as the
Yeah.
wrestlers.
When you think of a manager or a valet, I mean, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Bad guys.
Like the bad guys are the ones that always have the managers of the valets.
Yes. I think it works the best with the bad guys. A good guy, if he's good enough and over enough, he doesn't really
You don't need that.
unless he just can't do a promo.
Yeah, because
True.
I can't think of too many good guys that really had valets. Honestly,
I know. I'm sitting here
like,
thinking, I'm like, I don't think.
Macho
Macho Man,
Man,
maybe towards the end or whatever.
When you had
I mean,
Elizabeth and stuff.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, different incarnations of a valet with
I'm
him.
sitting here trying to think, and I can't.
unless you're going to count,
very many.
what was Dusty Rose and the chick with the polka dots?
Sapphire.
Yeah, Sapphire or something like that.
Tommy Dreamer was, I believe it was Beulah.
But were they good at that time?
I mean, it was ECW. I mean, it was the ECW of the mid '90s and stuff. Like,
no. I wasn't talking about was a match good, but I mean, were they heels or were they the baby faces or what?
I think she kind of switched back and forth because it
Okay.
was during that Raven Tommy Dreamer rivalry. If
Oh,
I'm
okay.
remembering the right
Yeah.
woman, I know there was a few women there, and I get them mixed up. I wasn't a huge ECW person, but of course it wasn't very readily available either. But I do know there was, but there's those. I'm trying to think of other. I'm just trying to think of managers in general that were managers. Sir Oliver Humperdinck was the manager of Bam Bam Bigelow in the WWE, and Bam
Well,
Bam.
Jimmy Hart was Hogan, right?
Yeah.
Like Lou Albano.
Captain Lou, probably the greatest tag team manager of all time.
Let me see. Honestly, like when I'm looking at my list here, I really do not see
That's
too
what I'm
many.
sitting here looking. I don't.
So,
see
like,
any
you
of
are
that
pretty
weren't.
much right. I mean, maybe Sable from Mark Merrow or whatever, but besides that, I mean,
I can tell you one good guy. I mean, he was also a bad guy because he kind of went with the group too. But Paul Ellering,
oh
Yeah.
Legion
True,
of Dooms.
true.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was back in NXT.
He's not. He was, and then they moved. It's Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
And they
He was-
moved him to the main roster, and then they were released a few months later.
What was the point moving him then?
Well, they was teaming with Karrion Kross. Now him and his wife are still in it, but they released everybody else. So yeah, that's what happened with them.
Yeah,
I think the only other one that I can actually think of that was technically good, I mean, I don't really know for sure, was Lita whenever she was managing the Hardy Boys.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Only the Hardy Boys, not later on with Edge or anything like that, because that was more of a heel turn then.
True.
And I want to get into that later on, or in the next
But
episode.
I think you're probably
Missy
right.
Hyatt was a good guy for a minute. I don't know what incarnation. She was a good guy. I think she managed the Steiners for a minute, and she managed Harlem Heat for a second. I think.
See, I got a list here. Let's see.
What about, would you consider Paul Bearer a good guy manager?
No.
Because, I mean, he also, not only Undertaker, he managed
Well,
Kane and Mankind.
I don't consider the Undertaker character at all a good guy or a bad guy.
I don't either. I feel like he's a more neutral type character.
Yes, he was kind of like the anti-hero. He was just
Yeah.
he was just the Undertaker.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's like a force of nature. He wasn't
Right.
good, but he wasn't bad. He was just kind of
you mess with him, he gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
He's like death, like
Right.
Yeah.
the Grim Reaper type
Yeah.
thing.
It
So
was
when
just
he's
like-
there, he's not good, he's not bad. He's
You
just, you have
couldn't
to deal with it.
have people affiliated with him. It was hard to put the Undertaker with people to have like a tag team unless it was Kane
Yeah.
Right.
or Mick Foley because
Right.
they were deranged. They were paranormal, something like that on that level. It
Yeah.
had because it just didn't match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Big Show and Undertaker, the only reason it worked was because they were two big, huge, giant guys. You know, the Big Show wasn't scaring anybody as far as like boos, and stuff.
But I would
like that.
put Paul Bearer probably as like one of my top 5 as far as a manager, probably for his longevity.
Oh, he was definitely up there.
And given all the things that he brought to the Undertaker, to Kane, to Mankind, as far as elevating them,
Oh yeah.
The heel turn. I mean, because there's not too many people that could have, take the urn and bust the Undertaker. The Undertaker over the head and us believe it or whatever.
Right.
And that was his only weakness.
The urn.
And I've seen some old video of Paul when he wasn't Paul, the Undertaker's valet, and with blonde hair, and he just
Doesn't look.
I think he looks scarier with the blonde hair. Honestly, I mean, it just looks like
Percival
he kind of
Pringle.
looks like Stewie Griffin. I
Oh my
I
God.
don't know. With blonde hair, it doesn't work. It's just
Are you talking about when he was in WCCW, like down in Texas and stuff?
Yeah, the blonde.
It was Percy Pringle there.
Yeah, no,
That's
no, you need to stay Paul Bearer. No.
Percy Pringle.
I think
That's
he would
hilarious.
say, "Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, like he still had the, oh, yeah, let me tell you something.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
No.
there's so many so let me ask you this. Uncle Slam and Vipers, let's do this. Real quick, give me each of your top 5 managers as far as men, and then we'll do women too. So whoever wants to start.
Ladies first?
No, and it
Well,
doesn't have
that's
to
hard
be.
for me
It doesn't
because-
have to be like this is my number one. Just like
Well-
so about 5 that really stood out to you.
I'm just gonna name some of the ones that I just remember because,
Right.
like, where I'm later in generation, there's not as many. I realized when I went back, there's not as many as there used to be.
They don't have
They
managers
really
like they
don't,
used
and
to.
Yeah.
it takes that special something for you to be a manager or a valet, and without that, there's no point.
That's why Paul Heyman has to come out of retirement and come out from writing stories and go
Well,
back in front of the camera.
That is my number one. I will say he is my number one manager of all time.
I can't hate on that.
Paul Heyman can turn a person like no other. I've never seen something
Look
as
how many
crazy
hands.
as that in my life. How many people has he done? I've got Rick Rude, Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Lesnar again. And that's all the ones I could find.
Beautiful
he's-
Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson,
I know,
Larry
there's ones that I don't even know.
Zbyszko,
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know
Uh,
he's had the most
too.
championships too?
Yeah.
That too.
The Samoans.
He's
Mm-hmm.
managed the most champs.
He's been involved with the Samoan family since like back in the 80s.
Yeah, way back in
And
the day.
like the Midnight Express. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's been
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean, you can't.
You
he's-
can. I don't know
you-
if anybody can actually argue with me on that one.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I'm just gonna say. I mean, everybody's top is probably Paul Heyman, but some of the other men ones, I don't really remember much of them other than like Paul Bearer,
Mhm.
Zeb Coulter. I remember him fairly well.
Zeb
I
Coulter.
don't know if you remember him. He managed. I don't know who else he managed, but he managed Jack
I'll tell you
Swagger.
I'll tell you who Zeb Coulter is.
I don't know who he
Josh.
was before.
You
Jack
know him
Swagger,
as
though.
Dirty Dutch Mantel.
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not getting a visual.
You probably seen him more wrestling in the USWA. He always wore. He was in the NWA for a while, but he always came out with like a poncho and a big black brimmed hat. Little
Oh,
short
It
guy.
sounds familiar, like a mug.
See if I can find a
He
picture.
had
of
like long gray hair, big long beard, and he was in a wheelchair for a long time. That he rolled around with Jack Swagger as the All American,
Mhm.
and they was doing that "Don't Tread on Me" stuff.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Him.
okay,
Dutch.
yeah.
That's Zeb Coulter.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, Dirty Dutch Man.
I remember him.
Yeah.
He's the one who predicted the sale of WWE about 2 years before it happened. He said it was going to happen.
WC what?
WWE.
Oh,
He said about 2 years ago that I was listening to him on a podcast. He said, yeah, he said there's rumors coming out of Stamford, Connecticut. They trying to sell.
Honestly, other men, I mean, I know of Jimmy Hart,
Yeah,
and
Mouth
he
of the
did a
South.
lot.
Did a whole lot.
I know more women managers and valets than I do the men. I
Yeah.
will say that because that was more my forte. I appreciated that point of wrestling.
Right.
that makes sense.
Well, especially with the women's revolution and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It gave women and I would like to also say that on our Spotify, is it Spotify? Most of our
Listeners are women.
So I'd like to say thank you to you ladies. But yeah, you know, with the women's revolution, it made wrestling something that women wanted to watch. You know, it wasn't just, oh look, they're out there in their
Yeah.
thongs again.
They're actually worth
Right.
something. They're and valuable for
It was
something.
like, oh shit, she done a moonsault. You
Yeah.
know, she done a.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what's that one move? I can't remember the lady who did it, but she done like a stunner off the top rope. Ember Moon.
Oh, I love Ember Moon.
When
Oh
she-
my
she
goodness,
done
I
that,
miss
she
her.
would jump and
God, I
like
love
twist
her.
her body in the air, grab
She
your
is
head,
so great.
and like sit down into a
Yes.
stunner
Oh,
off
shit.
the top rope.
She was really big in
Yeah.
NXT.
I think she's
like,
in AEW now.
maybe.
I
Yeah,
think so, under a different name, but yeah.
loved her.
Sorry, didn't mean
But
to get
yeah,
off
but
track.
in the men wise, I don't really in my era.
Right.
I don't really
haven't
remember
been
very
many.
many.
No, I mean,
Not
they
very,
kinda cut
no.
them out. I mean,
They really did. It
Yeah.
was more women than there were men.
That's why I always encourage you to go back and watch.
it.
And I know the production quality isn't
Oh, yeah, I'm okay
today's
with that.
quality. You know
I'm
what I'm
okay
saying?
with that.
But it's just like going back and watching The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
If you can get
Or
past
old
the
movies.
fact that you know it's 1950s technology, they didn't have the technology to do what
special
they do
effects
now.
and
Yeah.
shit. Like,
So just respect it for what it was and listen to the content.
story.
Yes. Watch
Mm-hmm.
the story and see how it unfolds. And I'm telling you, that's why I encourage
Mm-hmm.
you to do that a lot. It's because it makes you respect what's going on now
Right.
to a whole lot more.
Mhm.
So, Josh, who would you say is
wait,
your?
wait, she had.
Oh.
She hasn't done her women yet.
Well,
Are we doing- no, we were gonna do the women
thought we
after.
were gonna do men
Okay.
first and-
Oh,
yeah.
men. Okay, yeah. Me. Obviously, I go with the normal choices. I would, since I'm old school, I'm going to say Jimmy Hart, of course, because the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart. But he's also had a bunch of other people too. Hold on.
That's
let
all
me
I
check
hear
my-
is heart.
Jimmy Hart. Well, let's see, Honky Tonk Man, Terry Funk, Hulk Hogan. I mean, pretty iconic. Also, I'm a big Teddy Long fan or whatever, but he was more WCW. Now he did show up a little bit later on in WWE.
I didn't realize he was a manager. I
Just-
thought he was just a GM.
Just an anecdotal side note, I don't know how true this is, but I heard this story, and this plays into our Bret Hart Shawn Michaels rivalry. Do you know, and I just found this out, why Shawn Michaels was called the Heartbreak Kid?
No,
Because of the heart.
Because he was the kid that broke
Broke
the
the
heart
heart.
of the
Oh
heart.
my God!
I was like,
Even more sick name.
I was like,
Wasn't
I
he-
love it.
was it
That's
before?
why, because Bret Hart had the hearts on his
Yeah.
tights.
Yeah. Oh,
Shawn
that's right.
Michaels had
Broken
broken
hearts.
hearts.
Boo!
He's a
Boo!
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I didn't. That makes total sense
Yep.
now.
And,
Total sense.
And of course, Teddy Long managed, Doom, definitely one of my.
Let me holler at
favorite.
you, player.
Yeah. He also did, and I didn't know this, was Mean Mark Callis.
Yeah, he was
I
as
did
the
not-
skyscrapers.
I did not know that. I mean,
Yeah.
that was very, that was something else. Also, another one of my, like, if I gotta go, men, I gotta go, Jim Cornette. I mean, his voice alone, like, I can hear it. And plus, like, I've watched a lot of his podcasts. Like, his storytelling's amazing shit.
He
like,
said, I'm having a hard time getting these bills and stuff passed off to Mama Cornette, but it's okay. We're going to take care of it. I love Jim, man. Jim is one of the best minds in wrestling.
Yeah. And then, of course, when you think of Jim, you think about the Midnight Express. You got to think about Yokozuna. Vader.
I would say Jim Cornette is probably the greatest tag team manager of all time.
Easily. Van Vader was definitely, a big favorite. One that I hadn't thought about in a long time was Mr. Fuji.
Yes.
Mr. Fuji. Man, I had forgot about him.
He was a wrestler, too. Started out as a wrestler.
I didn't know he was a wrestler and stuff.
I only knew he
His
was
finishing move was crazy, man.
Yeah.
What was it?
He would, run off the ropes, and then he would, turn in the air and just jump and, kind of do the coffin dive.
Oh.
Only he would just jump backwards and just land on it. That was it.
Well, that was
for the best.
Yeah, I was I watched a clip of him doing his finishing moves. It was hilarious. I laughed.
He did. Of course, he managed George Steele, Yokozuna, Demolitions, the Powers of Pain.
Yep. The Warlord and the Barbarian.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, and
that was the Powers of Pain.
Yeah, and then the greatest, of course, would probably have to be Bobby Heenan or whatever. I mean, he had all the studs. I mean, you got to figure Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant. The Brainbusters, Ric Flair, but Paul Heyman,
Paul Orndorff
has
Mr. Perfect
has the most champions. As far as when you list.
That's one thing that I never understood about the WWE, and I guess I don't understand it now as an adult. I didn't understand it as a kid. But I didn't understand the way the business really works, that your money is always the good guy chasing the belt. Mm-hmm. And I was always glad that Hulk was defeating everything, from the Heenan family that was getting thrown at him. Yeah. Because it was a good 7-8 year rivalry. You could always throw somebody from the Heenan family at Hogan because of the Heenan-Hogan rivalry.
Yeah.
But it was just I never understood that it would have been better if one of those members was the champion and Hogan was chasing him. Did you know Hogan never would do a program with Rick Rude? Purposefully.
Why?
Because he said Rude was just too tough. He was worried Rude would whoop his ass in the ring.
And he should, because Rude didn't play games and shit. I didn't know, until I started doing a lot more research on wrestlers. Rude was one of those people you didn't play with.
He was a Haku.
Yeah.
You just didn't mess with him.
And I remember some story. What was it they were talking about him? And I don't know if it was a promoter or a manager or something about. I think he pulled a gun on somebody, or he brought a gun with him, or whatever. Or I think he had it in his waist. No, it was Sting and him. Sting and Rick Rude or whatever. They met. I'm pretty sure they had met on a interstate or something like that, and they had beef. And Rude had a gun, and Sting was terrified and shit. If I remember right. I'm not 100% about this. But, yeah, if I remember right, Rude was not one of the, because he didn't think, I think Sting was going to either get over, or no, it was something about some insurance or something like that. It was the Lloyds of London thing or whatever, where they had insurance.
Right.
And he didn't, and I think he was if Sting either didn't have a match or do have a match with him, it was going to fuck it up or some shit. But either way, Rude's not a guy to play with.
Right. Well, I knew he wasn't a dude to play with when I seen him doing a standing vertical suplex in the ring and turn it into a military press without putting the guy down.
Oh, damn.
Had him held up like this, lowered the guy's waist, and then just pushed him up like that.
I was going to say, what was the military?
I was like, what in the hell? But anyway, sorry, didn't mean to get off. Yeah, Rude's a baddie.
Okay.
Not like that. That was, yeah.
Yeah, that came out wrong.
Yeah.
He's a baddie.
He's a baddie,
he is ravishing, though.
Well, then I need to meet him.
His name is Ravishing Rick Rude. Like I said, as far as men, those would probably be my top 5 or whatever. But, they all have the same thing. They're all quick-witted. They all can turn, bring heat. They can always, got, a snappy comeback. You know what I'm saying? They know how to piss you off, and they're hilarious at the same time and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yes.
It is. So,
I agree.
What about you, or what, as far as yours?
I've got a few that y'all may not know a couple of them and everything, but going back and looking at them and looking at the people that they managed and stuff and everything.
Are you going back in the time capsule here?
Well, a little bit. I mean, some of them are, because my number one all time is obviously Bobby the Brain. I love Bobby. There's just, and I think the reason that I love Bobby is because me and my cousin were talking about this the other day. Bobby Heenan reminds me a lot of my Uncle Jim. Mm-hmm. Just his quick-wittedness and stuff like that. So I think that was and he had, facial expressions that kind of, resembled my Uncle Jim's facial expressions too. So I think it was just a nostalgic thing. He kind of reminded me of him and everything. But I love Bobby Heenan, and when you see Bobby Heenan as Bobby Heenan, but then you see him in interviews as, or when you see Bobby the Brain Heenan, and then you just see Bobby Heenan in interviews, like the love that man had for the business, and especially Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh yeah, like them together were just like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't have a better duo as far as doing commentary.
It broke my heart at Bobby Heenan's Hall of Fame induction when he said at the very end of it, he said the only thing that could have made this better is if Gorilla was here. And he choked up saying it and everything, and he just looked up and, I was like, man, it choked me up, because on screen they couldn't stand each other.
Yeah.
And they were great at it together.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But off screen, you couldn't have found two better friends.
Well, I think that's what makes it good, and because makes it flow a little bit better. Because if you're great friends on the outside, you know how to push each other's buttons without hurting each other.
Yes. And
really.
you can be honest with each other without,
And you can kind of push a little bit of the line and stuff because you are friends. Because, there's certain things you can say to your friends that you can't say to other people.
To other people. That, my point.
And people don't take offense to or whatever.
Because they know your heart. They know
who you really are.
They know when you're joking. They know when you're serious. They're a true friend.
Right.
And it's not, and they had that combo, like you said.
Exactly.
Yes. I would say Jim Cornette, and I'm not putting these in any, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is just kind of like my top 5 in no particular order. But Jim Cornette, love him. I couldn't stand him when he was younger. But man, any man that is willing, and if you haven't seen this, go look at it. Oh God, hurts my knee just thinking about it. So back in the day, there was a match in the NWA with the Midnight Express. And I can't remember who else it was. It may have been the Midnight Express versus the Midnight Express. Mm-hmm. That was a big, because Paulie Dangerously managed the other Midnight Express, Heyman as he is now. But that's where Big Bubba Rogers showed up.
Yeah.
The prelude to the Big Boss Man. Well, they had a scaffold match. Cornette was supposed to get up on the scaffold, crawl off, hang, and drop, and Big Bubba was supposed to catch him. Well, he dropped. Big Bubba didn't catch him exactly right. His leg buckled underneath him and blew out his ACL.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's nasty. And like he said he didn't scream. He didn't do nothing. He just looked over at Big Bubba and said, "Get me out of this ring. Now, just drag me out. Just get me the hell out of this ring now and get me to the back." But yeah, so, you willing to hang from a scaffold and blow your ACL out as a manager, you obviously love the business,
Jim Cornette's something.
I like listening to him now more than I do.
He's
just listen to his stories and his podcast and his interviews that he gives. I mean, what he shares is
passionate.
I always want to listen to what he talks or whatever.
I love listening to his knowledge of the business is great. And the records he's kept.
Oh, yeah. Names like...
Have you ever listened to his podcast, Vipers? The drive-through? I love it because but anyways.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I got to put Paul Heyman up there, but as I like to call him, Paulie Dangerously.
From back in the day?
I didn't even know that was his name up until I stared researching more about him.
When he had the ponytail and he wore the hat all the time?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about before that in WCW. When he had the mullet.
Oh, yeah.
And he was Jim Cornette.
Had
the Zach Morris phone.
Yes, because he's like, I'll take this phone with me in the car. I'll take it with me in the shower. I'll take it with me anywhere because this thing doesn't leave my side. I do business all the time, and I'm just like, okay, sir.
And like
chill,
you mentioned,
it's okay.
Like both of you all mentioned, look at the talent he's touched.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with people
totally
like him. and Jimmy Hart and, Bobby Heenan and people like that and everything, and a couple others I'm going to mention too. They've touched so much talent that has come down the pike, and you don't even realize it sometimes.
Until after they're already stars.
Right. And, and then you go back and you're like, oh,
Damn.
crap, I didn't know that, Bobby Heenan was Nick Bockwinkel's manager. And Nick Bockwinkel and Hulk Hogan were rivals, and that's where that whole thing started with Hogan and Heenan.
Well, see, I don't think Brock would have been the star that he is now if it would have been for Heenan coming over and kind of taking control of his career. And
You mean Heyman?
Heyman.
Yeah.
And, doing all, most of his talking, because no offense, Brock can't talk. Like, he's no Rock. And we'll never, ever think that he is and stuff, but, you turn the mic over to, him.
Yeah, he couldn't
totally
talk for
different and
long.
shit. Yeah.
He could get him over outside of the ring, as the intro said, and Brock could do the work inside.
Yeah,
of the ring.
Right.
Exactly.
And it just worked well.
So another one I'm going to bring up. What is that? That's what, 4 for me.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Another one I'm going to bring up is somebody that not a lot of people talk about. I don't think he ever really managed any real world champions, but Gary Hart.
Gary Hart. Don't sound familiar.
Remember the bald guy that used to come out with the Great Muta? Back in late 80s NWA, he was in WCW.
Let me look this up.
I don't think he was ever in the WWE.
No, I've never heard of him.
But
I think I've heard of. Is he part of the Heart Foundation?
No.
He's not?
He was
They had
down
so many
in.
kids, I didn't know.
He was down in a WCCW for the
Okay.
longest time. It's really made his name and stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, he may have managed the Undertaker. Yes, that's Gary Hart.
Oh, okay. Now I remember him.
But he managed the Great Muta. That's where I remember him from, was managing the Great Muta in.
Didn't he do
WCW.
Doom too, or the Legion of Doom, or was that
I
somebody
know
else?
he looked from. I was getting
Who
ready
all
to say,
did Gary Hart manage throughout his career?
because he looks really familiar. Like I've seen him
Okay,
do
so-
something else somewhere.
Here's a list of his guys, and I mean this is a who's who as well.
That's where it was.
For a span of nearly 30 years, he managed such names as the Spoiler, Bruiser Brody,
Okay.
Great
That's where I know him
Kabuki,
Okay.
the Great Muta,
Yep.
Terry Funk,
Oh.
Abdullah the Butcher,
Yep.
as well as such tag teams as Rip Hawk and Sweden Hansen, the Missouri Mauler, and Brute Bernard, which I'm sure are probably, 70s, era wrestlers and stuff and everything. I've never heard of them. But, I mean, he's got a ton of people,
Yeah, that's where I knew him from. Was the Bruiser Brody?
and he had a lot of and that's where he was in WCCW. I'm sure with Bruiser Brody a lot
Yeah.
and everything. I've always liked Gary Hart. I don't know. I always made the mistake too. I always thought he was part of the Hart family too. I was like, is he one of the Lost Hearts?
The Lost
I always
Heart.
ask because they had. What did we say last time?
5 million
12
kids?
to 13,
Yeah,
12, 13
I think there was
kids.
8 boys, 4 girls, and if you wasn't a wrestler, then you married a wrestler.
Yes.
And if you were born and decided not to be a wrestler, they disowned you and kicked you out of the
Yeah,
I'm
there was
just
only
joking.
one
They
that
didn't
didn't
do
go
that.
into
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah, like one, I think.
One out of
But
all of them.
I tell you, somebody, an honorable mention of mine, just because of the comedic relief, because I really think that he was struggling for a long time to find who he was, and I don't know if you remember this, Uncle Slam, but he was throwing frisbees out to the crowd with poems he had written on the back of them.
That's amazing.
No, it ain't ringing no bells right now.
But it will here in a minute, because they took the poem writing and decided to put a cap and gown on him and make him a part-time wrestler and mostly manager of Mr. Perfect, but he was the genius.
Oh,
Leaping
okay.
Lenny Paffa. When he was Leaping Lenny, he would have the frisbees, and he would get and read a poem, blah, 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 and then he'd throw the frisbee out to the crowd.
I like that actually.
No, I did not
Leaping
remember
Lenny,
that.
the
Oh,
genius.
I've never heard of him.
You never heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Well, his
That's somebody
brother's
else?
name is Randy Poffo.
Okay, I've heard Papa. I've heard that name.
Yeah, that
Well,
name's famous because
His brother was well known. I actually met his brother one time working for Stanley Steamer in Frankfurt
Yeah.
one time. But his brother's name was the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay,
Yep, Leaping
that
Lenny.
makes sense.
Yep, Leaping Lenny.
That's
But
why.
that would be like my men top five. But there's so many. Like I said, there's so many to go.
any
through.
honorable mentions that maybe y'all want to throw in that maybe that you didn't get for the men that you
Freddie Blassie.
Classy
Freddie
Freddie
Blassie.
Blassie.
Slick. I think you already mentioned Teddy Long,
Lou Albano.
Captain Lou, probably the second greatest tag team. J.J. Dillon,
I didn't know J.J. Dillon was one, honestly.
the Four Horsemen. He
I
was
did
manager
not.
of the Four
Yeah, I
Horsemen.
didn't know. I didn't.
I don't know why I don't remember that then.
I thought it was like Ric Flair that did all of that.
They said
Ric Flair's considered a manager too
Yes,
because he
I
did
did-
run that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah,
Virgil.
he is.
Oh, Virgil, yeah.
Virgil, yeah.
Old
I
Virgil.
do know that one.
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't much of a manager. He didn't talk much, and he was supposed to be like a bodyguard for the $1 Million Man, but I think it was more just like he was supposed to get in between and take a couple punches while the $1 Million Man left, because I don't ever think
Didn't
I
he become
seen
like the boxer or something
Yeah.
afterwards? He was like, I'm a boxer type guy, and
goodness.
I had that punch to knock you out, that
Yep.
one punch.
That's exactly what he did. Tag teaming up with Dustin Rhodes and stuff.
Yeah. And then he was over there
Yeah.
slinging man meat.
So what about your women? As far as valets / managers, like to me that's the difference. Is it just the name that changed? Because what determines a valet as opposed to a manager?
I always thought a manager was basically a guy and a valet was basically a woman.
That's what I thought.
I mean, that's how
That's what I thought
I
for
mean,
a
that was
long
my
time.
interpretation. I mean, like, is there a definition of one?
I don't know. I mean, like
Can somebody look it up real quick? I mean, like,
Yeah.
what's the definition
I'm
of
on
a
it.
valet and a?
you
and
got
a
which
manager?
word are you looking up?
I actually had found that a valet or a manager typically acts as a mouthpiece, guiding their client's career, cutting promos, and interfering in matches and stuff like that. A valet, on the other hand, is often a charismatic presence accompanying the wrestler to the ring, adding flair and dramatic. They have no influence on how they
Oh, you know
wrestle
what?
or who they wrestle or anything. They're just more. I hate to say this because
Just pretty girls.
I can't.
yes, they're
Yeah.
that was going to be my
Yeah.
word. Was eye candy. They're more like eye candy. They bring a certain flair
Okay,
to
that does
the
make more
wressler
sense.
that's in
Yeah.
the ring.
So,
So
I mean,
that's the big difference.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, now that I think about it, like when I think about most of the, female, they don't really talk too much. They're just kind of standing on the side. They
Yeah.
might
Yep.
slip something in every now and then to help them out, but they don't talk. But a manager, say like a Jimmy Hart or a fucking, Jim Cornette, they do talk a whole lot.
Can you think of any female, before we get into our list, can you think of any females that were mouthpieces?
Vicky Guerrero.
Vicky, yeah,
She's on my list, by the way. Vicky Guerrero by
I was
far.
I was gonna say Lita, but I don't know if I really count Lita as a
No.
mouthpiece. No,
I don't count her as a mouthpiece. I count
Trish
her more as
was.
a manager. Trish wasn't
Because
no.
Trish was the mouthpiece for
For
TNA. For Test and Albert.
Yeah,
You know they wasn't
she-
putting a microphone in
She
in
didn't
Test
start
or
as a
Albert's
wrestler.
hand.
She started as a manager
Yeah.
for
Oh,
Test
I didn't
and
know
Val.
that either.
Yeah, and Albert.
I don't
Maybe
know.
Stephanie McMahon too.
Stephanie.
She is
Stephanie,
considered.
yeah.
She's
Yeah.
also
Stephanie's
on my
definitely
list.
a mouthpiece. She's
Yeah,
probably one of, if not top 3 best
Yeah,
mouthpieces of a
her
female.
and Vicky made my top 5 list.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of another woman mouthpiece. Missy Hyatt. But
Yeah,
but
she did.
hers was like ditzy talk.
But she was still more of a valet.
Yeah, she was a valet, but she would definitely do interviews. She talked during like the interviews too, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like she was guiding them.
Yeah, but if I was going to put her in a category, she'd be more the valet than she would be a manager.
She had a couple of lines at the end of the interview,
Yeah, so,
more than
no.
just carrying the interview.
What
But-
do y'all think about? And y'all might not agree with me because there was only one person she actually valeted, managed. Her husband, Maurice. she's married to the Miz. She managed him
Oh,
for.
But was she a
She-
valet or was she a manager?
I feel like that she's both, because as a in a marriage you help and support each other. You give it ideas and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a manager role. But then when she's out there, she can talk sometimes.
Yeah, but it was
So I'm
still
really not
him
sure
that
where
did-
to. I feel like
I
she's
would
in the
put
middle.
her more of a valet.
Yeah.
Really.
I
Okay.
would. I mean, and it's not like anything bad towards her, but I just feel like the Miz was the mouthpiece of those.
Yeah.
True. True.
I mean, yes, she talked just kind of like Missy Hyatt and stuff and everything, but like, I look at like the Miz as kind of, and I'm not saying on the same level or anything, but kind of like Miz and Maurice were kind of like Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Missy Hyatt were in the 80s. They were that married couple.
Yeah.
That,
Right.
So, I mean, not to stray off topic, but the women, as far as
Yeah,
valets.
Well, give us yours there, Uncle Slam.
All right. My list here I'm going to start with. I would probably go with Scary Sherry, Sensational Sherry, Queen Sherry, Sister Sherry, or Peggy Sue, whatever you want to call her. Sherry Martel. I mean, she had
Martel.
lots of names and shit. She would, like I said, and this ain't in any particular order. This is just probably top 5. I would put her in there just because I remember her so much.
Right.
Being with, HBK, being with, say Macho Man or,
Right.
Something like that. I would probably say Elizabeth would be definitely on that list too,
Right.
just because she, for the longest, she was pretty much it. As far,
Yeah.
I mean, like she was the gold standard. It was like,
When it came to valets,
as far as valets, and when it came to, as far as storylines, like she was the one that broke up the Mega Powers. It was, she's the one that helped
Exactly.
split up the whole Hogan and Macho Man because the whole jealousy and one thought.
Yup.
And I think that, which we'll touch on later, I think it almost translated into real life as far as some
I think it did.
some rivalries too. So I mean, but that's something else we'll talk about later.
Right.
I would have to go with Stephanie McMahon, which we already kind of touched on too, as far as being a woman. I think, her being able to talk, her being, the company or the face of the company sometimes, as far as running shit, and being, with Triple H being her husband, she had a lot of say, a lot of power. And she, like I said, she managed champions and shit, and
did.
she was a champion. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was a women's
Yeah,
champion.
she
at one
was the
point,
women's
too.
champion at least once.
Let's see. Gotta love Vicky and stuff, but I probably wouldn't put her in my top 5, even though she probably deserves to be in. I would go with, I hate to say it, Sable for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? She wasn't the best, the gift of gab, but that's not what they paid her for.
What was her big saying? Men love me and women want to be me. And then she just shake her hips
Not
and that
really.
was it.
Not really, sorry.
I would go with Terry Reynolds, Marlena, or whatever
Yep.
you want to call her and shit.
Do you remember who she started out as in WCW?
I just remember her being with Goldust is all I remember.
Do you remember when he didn't stay long when they started the foundation and they changed the leader to Terry Taylor? But when Mike Rotunda, he came back to WCW and they brought him back as Michael Wall Street. And they were kind of doing a $1 Million Man type character with him.
Yeah.
Marlena, Terry Runnels, was his manager. She walked around with the computer.
Oh, really?
Alexandria York, part of the York Foundation.
Yeah. Okay.
Rotunda ended up leaving, going to WWE, and becoming IRS, and they plugged Terry Taylor in, and instead of Terry Taylor, he was Terrence Taylor. And then Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express broke up with Robert Gibson and joined, and instead of Ricky Morton, he was Richard Morton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was the York Foundation. That was Marlena.
Oh, I learned something new. And then probably my honorable mention would have to be Missy Hyatt, just because mostly she was WCW, and I remember back in the days, and she was one of the, she was a cutie, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, there wasn't a whole bunch to choose on or whatever as far as talent on WCW, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, honestly, though, and in that 80s era, I can't think of anybody else other than Elizabeth and Sensational Sherry in the WWE as far as women valets or managers.
Yeah. But
And then WCW, all I can really think of is, well, there was Woman.
Woman. See, that's the one I forgot to mention. That's
There
the
was
one,
Woman,
which is
Nancy Benoit. And
R.I.P.
there was Missy Hyatt. And then right there with Rude, when he came in, it was Medusa.
But didn't Stacy Keibler come from WCW too?
Well, that was later on,
Okay.
like towards the Nitro
Okay,
era.
okay,
And I'm
okay.
talking about like late '80s.
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't remember there being very many.
No, there wasn't.
Women
You're right. You're right.
valets.
There was Woman, and of course she always stayed silent. Like hell, I didn't think she could speak.
Right. I was like, man,
Like I never heard her say a word.
She's pretty, but does she have a throat?
She
You
never,
know, does
she
it
never
work?
said a word. So yeah, I would have to throw on I'd have to throw her in there too as an honorable mention and shit. Like, what about your? Is it, you want to go Legend or the
Have you already
Vipress?
went, or do you want to go ahead and go?
It doesn't matter. You
Go ahead.
All
Ladies
right.
first.
Well, I've already said a few of mine. So, like Stephanie McMahon, Vicky Guerrero, Maurice, still ballet. Two of the other ones that I hadn't mentioned was Lita.
Yeah. For the Hardys.
Or no, I did mention her earlier. For the Hardys, she originally came into it with Esos Rio.
Yeah.
And then
God,
Kane.
I forgot about that.
That's who she started with.
That, like,
Esos Rios.
that they tried to do him
It
as like
lasted,
a
like, a couple of
cruiserweight.
Yeah, it lasted a couple months.
Essios Rios or something like that. Yeah, I never could pronounce his name right or nothing.
And
But
then
yeah,
she did it with Kane and with Edge too.
I
so,
remember
mean,
the Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole.
I never
marriage thing.
understood it.
the
Some
Kane
of those
part,
just didn't get.
I do, just because the fear of having somebody come and take you,
Well,
the storyline, I guess.
yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think that's more of what that was for. It was just purely based on that storyline of,
I
you know,
know.
him taking control over, making her go here and there and everywhere and all that stuff.
I know
Not
there
that I
were-
like Lita very much. I have my own reasons.
Why ever would that be? I mean,
Oh, we can get
you're
into
not-
that
you're-
into our
you're-
next
you're-
episode.
You're not
don't
a
worry.
Hardy fan, are
Oh,
you?
not even the slightest.
She never did anything wrong to any Hardys or nothing.
What?
Not even the right Hardy. Not even the right one. Okay.
But
And then the other one I think that I have to mention is Melina.
Oh, true.
She is probably the definition of eye candy.
she
when
was
it
the
comes to
Eminem,
that.
right? Melina.
No, she's the one with the
Morrison
short
and
skirt. Yes, yes. yes.
Eminem. Yeah.
Oh, is that what they?
'Cause
Oh,
it
yeah,
was,
they was called Eminem.
Melina,
Yeah.
Johnny Nitro, and Joey Mercury.
Joey Mercury,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, she was probably the definition of eye candy when it came to
I remember
a ballet.
Eminem. I forgot all about them.
Oh no, John Morrison was. No, I didn't like John Morrison as a person, but his style in the ring was so out there for me that I really, really liked it. I really liked his flying
Advanced in
ability.
what it is, you know, it was. He was doing.
Starship Pain was
then.
probably one of my favorite.
Well, he was
finishers.
doing then what they're doing now.
Yes.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? He was,
That's why I think that I gravitated toward that
Yeah.
particular group because of that kind of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, that's probably my top 5.
Well, then I will give y'all mine. I'm gonna mix this up because I know there's a lot we've mentioned already and some that, you know, we haven't. So I'm gonna go with some that we haven't.
Oh, I figured out one we hadn't.
So, of course, there's Sunny, Tammy Lynn Stitch.
Sonny.
I mean, God help the woman. I hope something happens and she can get her life together because, you know, the drinking ended up killing somebody, I believe is what happened. And, you know, she got charged with manslaughter and stuff and everything. Her life really fell apart after wrestling and stuff. But she was probably the original China story. You know, other than the fact that it just didn't lead to death. yet. But thank God she got thrown in jail, and I hate to say that because maybe it's going to save her
might
from
save her.
death.
Well, that's somebody that we also didn't mention was China. If you want to
That's
throw that
China,
out.
who
yeah,
I just
China.
remembered,
But I mean,
China.
China just transcends. She wasn't just a manager. She was like literally you had to watch out because she was going to beat you up
Yeah,
if you
but-
stepped outside the ring too.
But
Sure.
at the beginning, that's what she was. She was that
Yeah.
silent valet that stood there next to Triple
I'll
H.
never
and
forget
stuff.
her picking up Melina and just shaking her like a
Yeah.
rag
Yeah.
doll.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh God, that's some CTE just waiting to happen.
And then what? I think HBK too. She was also
Yep.
kind of. So
Yeah.
it's like. Now, of course, she transitioned eventually to become more of a wrestler than a valet or whatever. But I think
Of course, Sonny was involved in that, and
Yeah.
we'll touch a little bit more on this in our next episode. But Sonny was involved in the HBK and Bret Hart scandal, where
another reason why they don't like each other.
right.
Let's just go ahead and say it.
the Sunny Days remark on Night or Raw. Yeah, that was they didn't take too kind to that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I said Sunny Baby Doll.
I've heard of
Who
her.
the hell is Baby Doll?
Do you not remember Baby Doll, the girl that was with Dusty Rhodes, and
Yeah, Dusty
they were
Rhodes.
fighting over her in NWA in I want to say like around 87, 88.
Mm.
But yeah, she was Baby Doll. But she was huge in
Tully
WCW.
Blanchard?
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
Tully Blanchard.
I-
She was Tully Blanchard's manager, and Dusty Rhodes, and like Tully Blanchard had like a big match, and like I think Dusty like won Baby Doll for like a certain amount of days and stuff like that and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I just read about her. That's the only reason I heard about it.
Another one I'm gonna go with is, and I'm gonna give her just dues, because she came in. She's been around the business for a long time, but she wasn't really a part of the business, I guess you could say. But somebody who I don't think got her props because she wasn't there for a long time, but when she was there, she did do good. Queen Charmel.
Oh,
When Booker-
okay. Yes, yes.
When Booker T
I-
was Booker T's
I
wife.
hate, I hate
when
Booker
when
T,
he
but
was
I agree
doing the
with you.
King Booker thing, I can't stand Booker T.
Right now,
I
as a
can't
person.
stand Booker T's King Booker persona. I like Booker T as far as Harlem Heat and stuff like that and everything.
Now,
Booker T's got one of my favorite promos, WCW too, because I laugh every time I see it.
But
We're
see-
coming for you, Hogan. We want that title.
But like when I think of him, I always think of Scary Sherry and like Harlem Heat.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
makes
saying,
sense.
like, for her short amount of time, when he won that King of the Ring, and she came in,
Yeah.
managing him as his queen. You know
she
what I'm
managed
saying?
him for quite some
Yeah,
time, actually.
It was, I think she did a great job playing the role, because, he went all aristocrat on us
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
Doing
I remember, I
little
remember.
pinky and everything,
Yeah.
But, and I think she played it up good and helped him sell that, because I got news for you. A lot of it would have looked real cheesy had he not had somebody there helping sell it to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine Booker T just standing out in the middle of the ring by himself with a dude as a manager, taking his robe off for him?
Yeah, that would have been a little weird.
It had to be his queen,
Yeah.
Charmel. So I think she did a great job, so I'm going to give her props on that.
I agree with you on that one.
How many is it? That's 3, right? Look, I don't really know much about her, but I've heard her name a whole lot. Is Precious. Now, Precious was like big valet, I guess, / manager, whatever you want to call it, in WCCW. She was Jimmy Garvin's manager.
Okay.
And just like, other places, there was rivalries over her. Somebody, won her or whatever it was. I don't, like I said, I don't know much of the story, but I've heard her name a lot whenever I've looked into WCCW and stuff. So Precious, and you know who Jimmy Garvin is, right? Jimmy Jam Garvin, the Freebird.
Yeah.
So it was back whenever he was gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Yeah. I don't know what that was all about, but hey, whatever. You know, the perm was a big thing back in the 80s for
It
men.
was the 80s. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
you know,
So.
big perms, you know, big hair.
Mm-hmm.
My last one, I don't really know. There's just so many that, like we said, there's so many, and I want to, get a spotlight on, a lot of these and not kind of keep repeating. But another one that doesn't get a lot of, and she could talk a little bit, so she was more of a manager, was Jackie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely forgot about her.
She
I don't
was
know her.
WCW for a while, and then she big match was she beat in WCW was she beat Disco Inferno for like the World Television Championship.
Okay.
And then she was a little short woman, but she was
Stocky.
stocky. And her, I hate to say it, she was women's champion in WWE a couple times, I think. But her big breakout in WWE was when she went up on somebody's shoulders, and she was sitting up on their shoulders and pop. And
Oh, her boobs popped out.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they wasn't
okay.
little either.
He said they weren't little either.
Yeah, now I
Oh
remember.
my goodness.
Yeah. She immediately was like this and took a bump.
Yeah.
And took a bump.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
took a bump with the titties out.
Yep, it was crazy.
my
But
gosh.
yeah.
The memories.
Yeah, and I don't think she gets a lot of credit either
Yeah,
for
I
being a
heard it.
good wrestler, because she was one that would back then wasn't that half step off, because she had actually been formally trained. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. It's real subjective.
It's a
and
fine
stuff.
line, actually, like for the most part.
So we've gotten into our personals and everything. We've talked about some, big time, managers, some that maybe not as big, but, personal favorites. But when researching this, I was looking up, just online, looking up, different managers and lists and stuff like that. Well, I can I can say that as far as wrestling lists go, I would not use Bleacher Report as a source
use them
of
at
good
all.
knowledge, because we kind of talked about this off air yesterday, but we're going to give you some of the Bleacher Reports, maybe top 15, 20, of their greatest. We won't spend a whole lot of time on each of them, but just to show you what some people see as the greatest managers and / valets in wrestling history. At number 1 all time on their list only, is Sonny.
Somebody's on drugs. Somebody needs to be drug tested at the Bleacher Report. I just need to know. Somebody get them people a drug test.
I don't. They're smoking something. Because I mean, hey, she was great, but number one
Number
all
one?
time.
What the?
She wasn't that
There's
great.
no
There's
way.
no way
There's
in
no
the
way.
fuck.
Number 2 all time. The woman that every man wants and every woman wanted to be, Sable.
Oh my god.
Number
Is this a mix of men and women?
I feel like
Yes.
I'm being
And
punked
are
here and
these
shit.
just valets, or are they valets and managers?
let's see. This list
What
says
does the title say?
WWE and more top 50 managers in wrestling history.
So they're specifically saying managers.
Managers.
They're crazy.
In
I don't
order?
like. What?
In
Come on now.
Ain't no
So-
way.
There's no way that two. And I'm a woman, so don't take this the wrong way. There's no way any woman was going to take the place of certain men that have prevailed way more than these women have.
Number 3 is the ex-wife of, I believe, recently passed away, rest in peace, Mongo McMichael, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Deborah McMichael.
Oh my god. What the fuck are these? What is wrong with Bleacher
don't
and
know.
shit? Please tell me.
I don't listen to that.
Yeah, Deborah was also Jeff Jarrett's manager.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So
Gotcha.
at 4, this is just the top 5 so far, guys. At 4, we've got Melina.
Now, I
Again,
like Melina,
I do
but
too.
not that much.
I don't like top 5 Melina.
No, that's ridiculous.
None of these people on this list so far are even fucking
top
ti-
50.
Top 20.
top 20
yeah.
and shit.
Yeah, top 20.
I wouldn't give them top 50. I mean, no offense. You know what I'm saying? But I can name 50 people or 20 people easily that made better than these people. And it's nothing, no offense to them. You know, they made their money doing their thing. Hey, I ain't hating on you. But,
Right.
you know, don't ask me to, you know, I don't do drugs. So,
I think they just threw a list together and shit.
Right.
Like, I don't
Probably.
think. Hopefully, like this is not in any particular order.
it's getting worse. Oh, no, it says 5.
It says numbers beside
It's
it.
got numbers. We went from 1 and we're getting ready to hit 5. You know what 5 is?
What?
The Godfather's hose.
See,
I seen that somewhere, and I was like, "Hose!" Like,
I
what are
told
they
you about it
talking about?
yesterday.
And I
You
was
were like,
I had to
"What?
think
They
about-
calling women hoes?"
And I had to think about it. I was like, "Wait a minute,
Vipers
they really
got
were
mad.
they really were
Yeah.
his hose." And
Yeah.
I have to think back to that time, and I'm just like, "Damn, son."
Viperous. I'm just letting y'all know when I told her about this.
I was like, what the
When she heard the hose, I'm telling you, she
I was so
recoiled.
mad.
She recoiled and she was ready to bite.
I was mad.
The
I was like,
Viperous
wait,
was
but
ready
then
to
I
put
was like-
somebody down.
That isn't my time period, so it didn't, hit me
Right.
that way. It hit me weird.
We don't talk like that now.
Nah.
oh,
They're not
true.
hoes. They're, I don't know what the political correct
They're
word
called
is.
304s now.
Oh,
bots.
304s. Okay, bots. Okay. So the 6th is Harvey Whippleman.
I feel like I've heard that name, but
I don't think this
who
is
is
being
that?
There's
He
no way.
was the manager for the Giant Gonzalez.
There ain't no way. Like this.
We don't even know these people.
This shit ain't real.
Oh, this one was great. I want to get the reaction from Uncle Slam again. I wish I could have got the original yesterday. Davari.
Who?
I've never heard of
Davari.
Who the fuck is this? Don't nobody know these people? Who? Who? As a manager, when somebody says the who, man, that's what I'm saying. Like,
He's the guy that they brought out right after. I mean, this was the great thinking of the WWE to get heat. They brought out a character, Davari, literally months after 9/11.
man, to quote The Rock, it doesn't matter what your fucking name is. This motherfucker's a bum. Get him out of here. Shit, Davari as a fucking number 8. Like, there's no way. There is no fucking way. Who? Davari. Come on now, stop.
So the next on this list is, yes, another. This person is a great performer, manager, wrestler. But would I put this person in the top 10 of managers all time? No. We're talking about the ninth wonder of the world, China.
I would
Managers?
not top. I would put her.
I'd give her top probably 25, 30.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because
I
of the
wouldn't
fact
put her
that
top
she did
10.
a lot with DX, you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't put her top 20 and shit, but I would do top 25 easily. I would put her over fucking Sonny. I would put her over
right. I'd put her over one of those top 5 women.
Davari or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
his name is. Over any of those.
Number 9 all time on the Bleacher Report managers list. Double A, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
I love Double A, but no.
No, I agree.
No.
All right. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. We got at number 10, Stacy Keibler.
Okay. Not.
Not,
I just remember her.
again, top
Not-
30,
she shouldn't
40.
be on there.
Yes,
But I
but not
remember her.
top 15, no. Matt Stryker.
Hell no.
Top 15, no. I'm not even putting him in top 50.
I'm not putting top 50 either.
Okay, now this one, Damien.
Like Damien.
Jake the Snake Roberts is Snake.
Okay, now y'all really are fucking with me.
Now you really
Okay, now,
okay, so
once
if we're
you
gonna
start saying
add that snake, we need to add Santino Morella's snake.
Right. There you
Just
go.
gonna drop that in there, okay?
Yes.
Well,
Santino's snake
I mean,
makes the list.
This is ridiculous now.
they
This
just
is-
need to. I mean,
The
go
snake
ahead.
hasn't said anything to me, and I speak parcel tongue, okay? That's just ridiculous.
I think top 3 should be the sock from Santino's, the snake from Jake the Snake, and the hose.
The
What about Mr. Sacco?
Damien was Jake's Elizabeth, don't you know?
No. Well, I guess. Well, then her
Oh,
crown was
that's-
too.
oh,
Then
right.
oh,
Never mind. Stop
well, how
that.
come we haven't
Stop
named
that.
the crown of Miss Elizabeth as the top 10 one too? Shit, might as well. If we're throwing the snake in here, shit.
So we got Ric Flair as number 13.
What his coat?
Well,
his
Maybe not
his
top
tinsel jacket.
15, but I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't see him as a great manager. I mean,
Wrestler? Yes.
yes.
Manager?
I
Hell
don't-
no.
I don't see him as a manager at all. Referee Bill Alfonso, who ended up becoming a manager. Don't see it. Trish is number 15.
No, because she wasn't. No.
Now this one I can get on board with as a top 20. It's Arnold Scalland. Now I know you probably don't know, but he was like big time manager back in like the 60s and 70s. I'll give you a little synopsis on him. It says, "Shame on you if you have no idea who this man is. The Golden Boy Arnold Scalland, I think I'm pronouncing his last name right, managed both Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund to 2 of the longest WWF championship reigns." And actually, let me correct that. That was WWWF, Worldwide Wrestling Federation, under Vincent Sr. championship reigns in history. Scalland was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 1994, just the second class ever, and is seen as the second man to ever be inducted after the late Andre the Giant as the lone inductee in 1993.
I don't think I was alive then.
Yeah, we weren't.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
But to manage the
most
people
of
that
their
he did.
reigns, no. Bob Backlund, we were there for Backlund's like last reign because he was like late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, I mean, you know, I can get on board with that one. You know what I'm saying? He's a legend. Eric Bischoff, number 17. I just can't get on board with it. You know, I like him. Yeah, he managed the NWO, but I mean, you know, my daughter could have managed the NWO.
I think they just pretty much managed herself, honestly.
Right,
I mean,
and that's what kind of killed it.
Yeah.
Number 18, we've got Rico.
I'm done with this list.
You know, the
So-
manager of Billy and Chuck.
Somebody should have went to bed. Whoever made this list.
All right,
It had
last
to be a
two.
joke list.
Scott D'Amore.
I've
I'm
never-
not for sure. I've heard the name.
DM.
Scott D'Amore was known more in the wrestling business as the road agent and the jobber before joining TNA in 2003. Initially a road agent, he helped bring Chris Sabin to TNA and help
Sabin.
form
Really?
Team Canada, the
Motor
most
Ci-
dominant.
Motor City.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
the
still
Motor City
wrestles-
Machine
Motor City
Guns.
Machine Guns.
The
They
ones
still
that just
wrestle
started
today.
on SmackDown.
They just had a match last night
Yeah.
against the Wyatt
They're called the
Six.
Motor City Machine Guns. They're pretty good. Chris
Yeah.
Sabin and Alex Shelley.
Shelley, yeah.
Okay. I don't know them.
They're from TNA. Faction, let's see, the Canadian faction, TNA had seen before the Main Event Mafia, and more recently, Fortunate and Immortal came into the scene. Whatever, sorry, I messed that all up. He basically a TNA guy and everything.
Yeah.
So number 20 on this list, and this is where we're going to end it because it just shows you how pathetic this list is. Jillian Hall.
I can't. Every time I hear her name, all I can do is hear her sing really loud and.
Hornswoggle is 21. I have to say this one.
Oh,
22 is Cyndi Lauper.
Where are the real managers on this list?
Vince
This-
Russo, Charmel, there's one, Victoria, the Bella Twins,
Victoria.
James Mitchell. James Mitchell is on here before Bobby the Brain Heenan, before Paul Ellering, before Teddy Long.
Yeah, that's got to be some kind of joke.
I'm
or
just
something.
now hitting some of these people. Mr. Fuji's finally on this. Classy Freddie Blassie is 36. So yeah, guys, like we say, wrestling is very, very, very subjective and objective. But at the end of the day, that list I think gets a stamp of BS from me. What about
Bullshit.
you? Rob? There you go.
Straight bullshit.
Pure bullshit.
Pure, unadulterated, smelly. Not the regular garden
Horseshit.
variety bullshit. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for the valets and managers. We just kind of want to do a fun little episode for you and talk about some people that generally don't get talked about and recognized. They definitely play a bigger role in this sport than anybody else. And if that's it and nobody else has anything, I'm just going to make an announcement and say, hey, don't forget to check out Elite Wrestling Alliance on Facebook. Great crew, great talent. Check out their shows. They got a show coming up the 20th of June. And I'm not really sure about any dates after that, but we will get those and let everybody know. Go see them. A lot of good talent. A lot of people. Don't forget to go on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon. We are making everything free. I know Patreon says $2 to join, but don't worry about that. The episodes will be free. You have to put a pay tier on there for some reason. I'm not for sure, but yeah, anywhere you want to follow us, follow, like, share. Please get it out there. We appreciate everybody that's here. Check out EWA and check out Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc on all your major social media posts. And anybody got anything else?
No, I'm tapped
That's
out.
all.
Well, if that's it, referee's hitting that 3 count, and let's ring the
bell.
bell.